What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to another edition of SMB, a South Park review. For each and every week, South Park is reviewed for your listening pleasure. I am your host in the heat, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry. Yeah, boy. MSG. You can follow us as a podcast by going to Linktr.ee/SouthParkPod. Find us on all outlets, social media outlets, that is, at SouthParkPod. I am alone again this week. Unfortunately, Dane is just getting settled into his brand new job. Ian is still spending time with the fam. And as we all know, our boy Joe is on the mend still. So shout out to my cast and crew. May have a guest lined up for part 2. But this is part 1, number 200. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a South Park band episode. That's right. The following 2 episodes that I'm going to be reviewing by myself and hopefully with another person next week are on the South Park band list, episode 200 and 201. They only aired once on Comedy Central. Following that, it never aired again. As well, you can only get these episodes on the season 14 DVD. However, when we get to 201, there is a point in the show toward the end where when you watch the original broadcast, Kyle's speech was omitted. However, the unedited, unomitted speech is available on the South Park archives. Not archives itself, I should say, the archive.org website, uploaded by the creators of Matt Stone and Trey Parker. So if you'd like to go see the omission to Kyle's speech next week, before I get there, you can do so now. Otherwise, we're going to play it here on next week's episode. But I'm here to review episode number 200 for South Park. This is SMB number 203 for us. You're probably asking, wait a minute, you're not lined up? Yes, we are. Okay. We reviewed the pilot, and then we split up the movie into 2 episodes. So this is SMB 203. It is the 200th episode of South Park, and it first aired on April the 14th, 2010. Of course, as I mentioned, this episode is noted for being the 200th episode of South Park and for starring most and all of every celebrity that's ever appeared or been mocked throughout the series. Every episode is, every celebrity is here who's been mocked by South Park. They're pissed. They're back. They're back for revenge. The town of South Park faces a class action lawsuit as every celebrity they've ever ridiculed is out for revenge, is that synopsis. So here's how the episode starts out. And you can find this clip as well as I'm going to talk about right on our TikTok at SouthParkPod. Mr. Garrison's class goes to a field trip to a chocolate factory. Kyle and Cartman are arguing, and they're kind of like just having their old reoccurring argument. Like they're bringing it up again, right? About Cartman not having a father and for Kyle being a Jew. Stan, of course, mentions, dude, I've heard this hundreds of times already. Can you stop bringing up old arguments? And then just as they're about to exit the floor, I guess this being the main distribution packing floor for this Fudge factory, Butters draws Stan's attention away and says, hey, dude, isn't that Tom Cruise over there wearing a uniform and working on the Fudge packing assembly line? And Stan's like, holy crap, Tom Cruise is a Fudge packer. And then Butters belts out, I wonder why Tom Cruise is packing fudge. And then Tom Cruise, that is, he looks over and he becomes infuriated by this remark, thinking he's being made fun of for homosexuality, which he's not. He's literally in the factory loading fudge into a box to be shipped away. So he is packing the fudge. So Tom Cruise is pissed, though, because he's like, I'm not a fudge packer. I'm out here fly fishing. Stan's trying to clarify, like, no, dude, you're obviously packing fudge, which only pisses off Cruise even more. And then Mr. Garrison even takes notice of him. He's like, hey, is that Fudge Packer Tom Cruise? Which angers Cruise to a point where he's like, that's it. I'm going to sue the town of South Park.
All over the world.
Kind of like Cartman's dad shipped out on him.
I have a dad, butthole. My mom is my dad. You guys, stop. All you're doing is rehashing a bunch of old stuff.
Hey, Stan, isn't that Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise?
Oh, wow, it is. Hey, guys, check it out. Tom Cruise is a fudge packer.
Yeah.
What did you call me?
Hey, that is Tom Cruise.
Cartman
How
takes a
come you're
picture.
packing fudge, Mr. Cruise?
Where are you packing fudge, Mr.
I'm not a
Cruise?
fudge packer.
Dude, you don't have to be ashamed or anything.
So now, of course, they're like, you don't have to be ashamed. They're trying to, like, prod him along. Be like, dude, you don't have to be, just, it's fine. If you're packing fudge, you're packing fudge. And then here's Tom Cruise.
I'm a very busy actor. I'm just here trying to get away for a weekend and do some fly fishing.
Doesn't make any sense. You're in the factory.
Dude, you're in a fudge factory packing fudge.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that does it. I will sue you.
For what?
You can't just call somebody a fudge packer and get away with it. Hey, is that fudge packer Tom Cruise? That's it. I'm suing this entire intolerant town.
Mr. Garrison. Hey, is that fudge packer Tom Cruise? All right, so after that, Cruise calls all the celebrities that have ever come into contact with the town of South Park in hopes of joining in with him in a class action lawsuit. However, their plans are interrupted by Jared, from Jared who has AIDS, who asks to use the restroom because he ate too many Subway sandwiches. He ends up opening every door he sees and only finds closets, despite Cruise directing him to the bathroom.
A fudge packer. So wrong. That is crazy. I know, right? And then other kids in the town and their teachers start joining in.
South Park, Colorado is the most insensitive, racist, and bigoted place in this country.
Fred Savage.
That town
Mr.
thinks
Rogers,
they can say whatever they want about
George
people and get
Lucas,
away with it.
If anybody
Spielberg,
has a gripe
Paris,
against that shithole, it's
John
me.
Mel, Martha Stewart.
Yeah, well, I say enough. All of us together can put a stop to the slander coming from that town once and for all. No longer will they make snide remarks about whoever they want.
Yeah! Hey, Tom, I ate too much Subway. Where's your bathroom?
Oh, just the door down the hall there, Jared. No, that's a closet. Go down more. No, that's a closet too. No, Jared, that one's a closet. No, that's a closet. No, that's a closet.
All these closets. Jared's just confused. So let's go back here. I want to take a look at this picture so we can get a focus of who they've got. All right. So we've got Russell Crowe. We've got Bono. We've got Sarah Michelle, whatever her name is. Gellar? Sarah Michelle Gellar from Matthew Broderick's wife. Why is your wife a transvestite donkey? We got Michael Jackson there in the background. We got Ozzy Osbourne's wife. We've got Martha Stewart, Kanye West, Sylvester Stallone, Ben Affleck, Mel Gibson. I already pointed out the Pope. Forgot was there. Paris Hilton. John Travolta. I forget who this chick is over here with the short hair. And I remember her though. Wow, war, right? I mean, wow, war. I think it's that chick. And now my ping pong out of my vagina ball, whatever. I think that's her. We'll go through more of this in the trivia breakdown there, but if you're watching this on the podcast, if they let me show it, then that's who it was. If not, then I'm just reciting off character names to you, and you're like, what the hell, man? Can you get back to the episode? So back to the episode here. So now back in school, Stan gets called to Principal Victoria's office, where he discovers that all the adults are waiting, even Randy Marsh, his dad, who then proceeds to yell at Stan and say, hey, you couldn't stop making fun of Tom Cruise, could you? And the adults end up explaining to Stan that, unfortunately, it wasn't okay to call Cruise a fudge packer, and Cruise, along with all the other celebrities, has now filed a class action lawsuit against South Park for all the slander, insults, and other incidents against them. Mayor McDaniels goes on to say that the town will go bankrupt and be forced to shut down. So now, in hopes to stop the lawsuit, Randy's going to take Stan to Tom Cruise to apologize, where eventually even Randy can't deny that Tom Cruise is indeed a fudge packer, even though he's trying to explain the use of the actual term.
They're going to sue the bejesus out of this entire town, okay?
It wasn't just me. Other kids called him a fudge packer, even Mr. Garrison.
You started it. Mr. Bravlovsky, tell him what you told us.
Stan, a class action lawsuit means the end of this town. We can't possibly go up against their lawyers.
Damn it, Marsh, why couldn't you have just kept your stupid, ugly kid in line? Hey, don't start blaming me for his looks.
All right, so now, as I mentioned, Randy, in hopes to persuade fudge packer Tom Cruise from not suing the town of South Park, he's going to take Stan with him to the fudge packing factory, where Tom Cruise is indeed still packing fudge, to try and get Stan to apologize and get Mr. Cruise to rescind the lawsuit.
Mr. Cruise, my son is so sorry, and he would do anything to take back his hurtful comments.
That's nice. I'm still suing you all. Nobody calls me a fudge packer.
Yes, it was a terrible mistake, but maybe you could see how since you do take fudge and pack it into a box.
What?
Well, I'm just saying that you are employed currently as a person who packages.
I'm an actor. I do not pack fudge.
Right, my son just got confused because you have a little uniform and a hat that says Fred's Fudge and Candies. And you are... Look, it doesn't matter. Just please withdraw the class action lawsuit. Nobody in our town will ever call you a fudge packer again.
There is one thing that your town could do to maybe make me forget about this lawsuit.
So this is where this episode definitely is going to take a turn. For you see, over the reason why this episode has been banned, along with part 2, is due in fact to the usage or reference, even though he's never shown the character of Muhammad, even though he was technically shown in the Super Friends and he was a badass, because of how he was utilized in Cartoon Wars, because of the current political and geopolitical climate that was taking place at the time, and still to this day, even now, the use and depiction of Muhammad is profusely prohibited by Muslim faith, and therefore, if it's used in large forms of media, there is an outcry by those individuals as it's a depiction of their God. I'm not here to agree or disagree with that. I'm just giving you the facts there of why they were upset. So Cruz states that he won't drop the lawsuit unless he gets to meet Muhammad, the prophet of the Muslim faith, as we mentioned from Cartoon Wars and Cartoon Wars Part 2 and Super Best Friends. Stan and Randy, of course, are concerned because the only problem is they can't get Muhammad due to the fact that whenever his image appears, Muslim terrorists, execute anyone responsible, deeming the image to be ridiculed. Stan, however, points out that he did meet Muhammad once, and despite him being out in the open, it wasn't a big deal, and nobody got upset. That's, of course, Super Best Friends, which is a banned episode as well.
It's just that there's somebody I've always wanted to meet, face to face.
Muhammad.
If you could get him to show up in your town. Sure, who is it? We can get anybody for you. Muhammad, the prophet of the Muslim faith.
Ooh.
That's tricky.
Well, then you can just get sued.
Mr. Cruz, if there's anybody else we could try to bring to town, we could...
No, just him. You get Muhammad to appear in South Park, or your little town is done.
So that's kind of the crux, the plot of these 2 episodes is the usage of Muhammad, and Tom Cruise is going to end up explaining why later on, but it has something to do with, now I'll tell you, is the fact that Muhammad can't be made fun of and can't be shown. So Tom Cruise wants to meet Muhammad to figure out how he can turn himself into that version, someone who cannot be made fun of. So meanwhile, the rest of the celebrities now are confused by Cruise's demands, to which he responds that it's all part of a plan to get a hold of Muhammad, who has the power to not be ridiculed, asking Jimmy Buffett how he would feel if no one could make fun of his music, and Tim Burton if no one pointed out his lack of original movies and constant casting of Johnny Depp. He is interrupted from explaining further when Cartman appears. Cruise and other celebrities immediately recognize him for South Park, but Cartman explains that he's not there because he wants to, but rather because he's an escort for someone else. Cartman then removes his glove to reveal his hand, and we get the return of Jennifer Lopez. And of course, the celebrities believe it to be Jennifer Lopez. She's back. Everyone's back. Here's Stan going to point out to the fact that he met Muhammad once.
You did?
Yeah. A while ago, my friends joined David Blaine's cult. I had to go to the Super Best Friends to rescue them. Muhammad was one of the Super Best Friends.
Yeah.
Oh, and what? And he was just out in the open where everyone could see him and nobody got bombed?
Yeah.
No, dude, it was totally fine.
Muhammad showed up and there was no violence at all.
Well, giant John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln.
All right, Stan, that's enough. Jesus. You can't learn to shut up, can you?
He doesn't believe
Now look,
it, but
I believe we can find Muhammad.
Best friends.
I've done a lot of research and I've completed a sketch of what Muhammad could look like today. No, don't!
And it's just a stick figure. Is that okay?
Is that okay to show?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And that's another thing that's ongoing throughout this episode is they're wondering what is okay to show. And are they going to get shut down? Are they going to get banned? Are they going to get censored? So they've got the characters like Garrison and, of course, Jimbo here looking up to the sky. I don't know. We'll see. Are we going to get bombed? Someone's going to take us out? As I mentioned now, here are all the other celebrities talking to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you said we were just suing South Park.
No, I said we were going to use South Park to make sure we never got ripped on again. Look, people, all of us get ridiculed. But who is the one person on this earth that is completely free from slander?
You want Mohammed because he can't be ridiculed?
Muhammad has a power that makes him impervious to being made fun of. What if we could harness that power?
So they want to harness the power of Muhammad. It was a little confusing the first time I saw this episode back in the day because I was just like, what? Okay. But eventually they're going to show us and he's going to have some sort of device. All right, so here's Cartman.
This is the home of Tom Cruise, right?
Hey, it's one of the kids from South Park that slandered me.
I didn't come for myself. I'm just an escort for another celebrity who wants to get in on your lawsuit.
Who?
Jennifer Lopez!
Hey, Jen! Oh, wow!
Yes, I am Jennifer Lopez, and I like tacos and burritos.
They're just pulling out all the bag of tricks. It's this whole, 200, 201, of course, is a almost like a, if you will, a nod to the fans. Right? Thank you for sticking around. Now we're gonna do one giant clusterfuck. And we hope you enjoy it. So now, as I mentioned, Stan's going to go visit the Super Best Friends. And here's the opening and song to that, which Muhammad is now censored in this version.
In the great hall of the Super Best Friends, there are assembled the leaders of the world's biggest religions. Jesus!
Tell us. Here we go.
Buddha! Krishna! Muhammad!
And of course, they can't show you that.
Lao Tzu and Joseph Smith!
Lao Tzu.
And the mighty seamen!
It's not seamen, it's Seaman!
Their mission, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind!
The one thing I like about this is they actually put a 2001 copyright on it, even though this episode came out in 2010, as I mentioned. And it shows Muhammad there. But they had to censor him now. So it was okay in the past, but now it's not okay. So that is what the joke they're playing into. So now they go to the Hall of Super Best Friends, as I mentioned, Stan and Kyle, in hopes to get Muhammad to appear in South Park. Of course, to their dismay, they are denied because the Super Best Friends are also unable to allow Muhammad to appear for the fear of terrorist attack that could result from it. Stan and Kyle suggest assorted ways to get Muhammad to appear, such as in disguises, but all ideas are turned down because no part of Muhammad can be seen in public. Even walking around with his body completely obscured isn't okay. In the end, though, they agree to allow him to go to South Park in a U-Haul where he can be heard, but not seen.
Mocked because he's a religious figure.
Buddha's doing coke.
Buddha, don't do coke in front of kids.
A U-Haul. What if we bring Muhammad to South Park in the back of a U-Haul and he just stays in there out of sight?
But he's talking from the U-Haul?
Well, yeah, he's gotta talk or nobody knows he's in there.
Hearing his voice, I don't know. What do you think, Moses?
Moses.
Would there be windows on the U-Haul?
There doesn't have to be.
I guess that would be okay.
So stupid. The giant Moses gets to decide here. I guess that would be okay. That's okay. So now back at his house, Tom Cruise reveals to his fellow celebrities a machine that's designed to take Muhammad's power. He and his ally, Rob Reiner, explain that every human has goo inside them. That is their essence, and it can be transferred to other beings. Cruise's plan is to steal Muhammad's goo and use it so that no one can ever ridicule him again. Cartman, now who is growing uneasy by this new turn of events, leaves the room and proceeds to have a conversation with Jennifer Lopez's Hannah, saying he was only there to make money. Jennifer, however, cuts him off, telling him she wants the goo. To counter this, Cartman reminds her that he knows she's not really Jennifer Lopez and reveals that she's really the con artist, Mitch Connor. Mitch explains to Cartman that Muhammad's goo is far more valuable and that he could sell it on the Hong Kong black market for $50 million. Of course, they're not going to let us forget the fact that it's not really Jennifer Lopez. It's Mitch Carter.
No, Jen. We've all got enough money.
Yes, who needs more money? We need to get Muhammad's goo. Yes,
goo.
Arriba, arriba.
Excuse us for a second.
Cartman.
All right, just what the hell do you think you're doing?
What am I doing? Just having some fun, Cholo.
Cut the crap. I thought we were here for lawsuit money.
Just keep your mouth shut and do what I tell you.
If we're staying here, then I want to know what's going on. Don't forget, I know who you really are.
He pulls the wig off.
Mitch Connor.
Mitch Carter.
If you know what's good for you, you'll keep your mouth shut, kid. You're a no-good swindler and a two-bit thief. We were here for money, not goo. Think about it. Muhammad is the only person in the world that can't get ripped on. Those celebrities want his goo. Yeah, so what? You know what that goo is worth on the open market? Hell, I got people in Hong Kong would give me 50 mil for that goo. So we let them take it from Muhammad, then we steal it for ourselves. You catch on quick, kid.
Miss Lopez!
Someone's coming, get my wig back on.
Get my wig back on.
Hey, I was just seeing if you needed some... Oh, God, you found my fudge packing uniform.
Oh, your secret is safe with me, Tommy.
Get it? My fudge packing uniform? So now back in South Park, South Park tries to give Muhammad to Tom Cruise and the other celebrities. He is informed, though, that Muhammad has to come out of the truck. However, they are left with the problem, of course, getting Muhammad to appear without allowing him to be seen. In the end, though, they place Muhammad in a bear mascot outfit that covers him from head to foot. The exchange of Muhammad to the celebrities, though, is stopped for a brief moment when the citizens are informed that terrorists will blow up South Park if they don't hand over Muhammad to them. Stan still tries to hand over Muhammad to the celebrities, but before they can reach the car, it explodes. The citizens are shocked to find out the terrorists responsible in this case are the Ginger Kids, who also want Muhammad's power to not be ridiculed. While everyone is now in a panic, the adults decide that the best thing to do is to give in to the Ginger's demands, as they are threatening violence rather than a simple lawsuit. All right, Muhammad in a U-Haul now. Hello.
Oh, is that okay?
I don't know.
You're welcome.
All right, now we just need to figure out how to get Muhammad from the back of the truck into Tom Cruise's limo.
What? No, Dad, we promised Muhammad would stay in the truck.
Cruise's lawyers were very specific, boys. He's sending a limo for Muhammad to meet him outside of town.
But Muhammad can't be seen, Dad.
All right, we'll put a sheet over him.
No, you can't even show his feet.
How about a Halloween costume with one of those plastic masks?
No, you could still see his eyes. Okay, how about like a big mascot outfit? One that covered him completely, head to toe, not even showing his eyes.
Muhammad, would that be okay?
Okay. They didn't even know if they could do that. Is that okay? Is that okay? All right, now here's Cartman now still arguing with Mitch Connor, a.k.a. Jennifer Lopez.
More tacos! I want more tacos!
No more tacos, Miss Lopez.
More tacos!
You just had 7 tacos.
I want more tacos!
I'm sorry. Why are you doing this?
I am Jennifer Lopez! I need tacos to live!
You know goddamn well you're not really Jennifer Lopez. Now stop pissing me off.
Miss Lopez, I can go. What do you want, like 3 tacos?
Oh, thank you, Kylie Sheen!
Charlie Sheen.
And maybe an enchilito, too!
Oh, they don't even make enchiladas anymore.
Yes, they do!
No, I tried getting one last week.
Not all Taco Bells have enchilitos, but some still carry them.
God, will somebody shut her up?
And everybody's just playing into this. It's so great. Okay, so now here's Muhammad showing up in a bear mascot outfit.
All right, the limo's here. Muhammad, thanks again for doing this.
You've done this town a huge favor, Muhammad.
Hold on a second! Stop! There are some extremists threatening that if we give Muhammad to the celebrities, they're gonna bomb us.
What?
Oh, it's just a stupid threat. Come on, we don't want to piss off Tom Cruise again.
All right, we got him, Tom.
And of course, boom, explosion. The bear, Muhammad, is there laying on the ground.
Muhammad, are you okay?
What the hell was that? Obviously the terrorists are for real.
Obviously the terrorists are for real, so now they decide we have to give it to the terrorists, right? Because they killed Jared and Phil Collins. Phil Collins, blah, 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 blah. And then here comes the big reveal. Gingers.
Our time is near! Soon gingers will never be made fun of again!
So, and then here's how the second part of this story arc, another second story they introduce in here, is we're going to get the actual reveal over the course of 200 and 201. Who really is Eric Cartman's father?
Let me back. You walk away now and you'll regret it the rest of your life. Screw this, Connor. Find yourself another partner. Then I guess I won't tell you about your father.
Where they have Cartman's arm he's pulling it back. So in the background, it looks like someone's talking to Cartman. It's good.
I know enough. My mother is a hermaphrodite, so she is actually my father. You really still believe that garbage? The people in your town sold you that land. Come on, you've had to have doubted it all along. How would you know anything about who my family is?
Over the shoulder
I know all about the swindles and schemes in this dead-end town.
This is good.
You got lied to, kid. By the people who are closest to you. I can prove it, too.
And then, of course, if I am able to show this on YouTube, now Cartman in the background as they're doing a rack shot here where Cartman's face is a little bit blurred out while they have Cartman's hand in the foreground in focus, speaking directly into the camera.
But I'm going to want something in return. If you're making this up to keep me around, Connor, then you better just take me where I tell you. And when you learn the truth, you'll learn to trust me. And nobody else.
Nobody else. So the celebrities are not happy to learn that, they're going to give Muhammad over to the gingers. As they still want Muhammad for their, own personal needs. So Cruz demands that the celebrities get violent in order to get Muhammad. So basically emulating what the other terrorists do. None of the celebrities actually want to do this, though, as they don't want to ruin their careers. Rob Reiner, manages to calm Cruz down by reminding him that there's only one person who can take violent action without it hurting the rest of them. And the celebrities enlist a newly rebuilt Mecha Streisand, who was, of course, years ago, destroyed South Park in the episode Mecha Streisand. Old school review. You can go back and check that out. To attack the town and get Muhammad for them. When the situation is explained to Mecha Streisand becomes enraged, and her badly sung Japanese theme song reappears. It's great. They bring back the All right, let's go ahead. We'll jump into those clips. You see Indiana Jones.
There she is, Tom.
Background tight gagged up.
Barbara Streisand.
Angelina Jolie.
My God, she's even more terrifying than I remembered. Tom, Barbara Streisand hasn't been active for a long time. Are we sure we want to do this? Mrs. Streisand was blown apart in the town of South Park. She's probably more angry at that town than any of us.
Power her up! Release the Kaiken!
Yeah. So yeah, she got a revamped song there. It's pretty good. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. So as we heard and saw there previously, Mitch brought up the subject of who was Cartman's dad, which we haven't talked about since Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut. So they go now to Mr. Garrison's house to get the truth about who his father is from Mr. Hat. Mr. Garrison, of course, says he has not used Mr. Hat in years, is shocked by the demand, but proceeds to pull out the old puppet of his drawer. Mitch states that he is an old friend of Mr. Hat and that he knows the truth. On the night Cartman's father was supposed to be revealed, the tests were altered, and that Cartman's real father was indeed in that room that night.
Eric, what are you doing here?
Did you all lie to me? All of you in that room? When you told me my mother was my father?
What? No, Eric. Are you still worried about that whole issue? I
don't trust you. I want to talk to Mr. Hat.
Eric, I haven't used Mr. Hat in a long time.
I said get Mr. Hat!
He goes and gets him.
Put it on.
Put it on.
Do the voice.
Hello, kids. It's me, Mr.Hat.
Good to see you, Hat. Hell of an ad, isn't it?
I don't believe I know you.
The name's Mitch Connor. Flew the same division as you back in Saigon.
Eric, this is silly. Why don't we just stop?
Keep your hand up.
All right.
It's the ultimate puppetry between two people who have mental issues here. With Mr. Garrison, who had to use Mr. Hat, and we've got Cartman, who has to use Mitch Connor, a.k.a. Henry Lopez, for his alter personality, if you will. It's genius. Let's get back into more Mitch Connor and the Hat.
Damn it, Mitch! You're asking questions that shouldn't be answered!
So you admit it. There was a cover-up.
No, Mr. Hat, don't say any more!
Yeah, tell him what you know.
All right, Eric. Your father was in the room the day of your DNA test, but the results were tampered with.
By who? God damn it, Garrison. Who is my father?
All right, and here's how the episode now climaxes, with the town of South Park, of course, trying to give over Muhammad to the Gingers. On her way. And that is how this episode ends. It ends with a little bit of a montage there, showing, of course, as I mentioned, them attempting to give Muhammad over to the Gingers, who are holding some sort of device, making it look like they're going to blow something up. And then, of course, we cut to Mecha Streisand, who is now en route to the town. And, of course, we've got our recap on Cartman, Mitch Connor, and Hat. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how it wraps up. We'll be back on the other side with some more pop culture, trivia, maybe some continuity and more. We'll be right back.
Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed. You'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review.
What's up, guys? Welcome back now on the other side. Once again, shout out to our sponsors there, provided by the Spreaker. Go ahead and click that link, tr.ee/SouthParkPod, for all of our landing pages, social media outlets, podcast pages, YouTube links. YouTube, of course, at SouthParkPod, on all social media outlets at SouthParkPod. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. I am not the 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 South Park Trivia Champion. I am not a doctor of thugonomics, punkonomics, polyphonics, scoopophonics. I am not a trivia god like Joe Vernola, but I will do my best, and there's a good amount. As a result of this episode, including an image of Muhammad in disguise, Trey Parker and Matt Stone were threatened by a radical Islamic website called Islam Policy, formerly known as Revolution Muslim. Both sites, of course, now have both been shut down. This episode never aired in Australia nor the UK and was removed from the DVDs in those countries. There is, of course, a cake pictured was made for South Park crew shortly before the day of this episode's broadcast in celebration of what they felt to be a milestone for the series. The show became banned in Sri Lanka after showing an image of Buddha sniffing cocaine. Although supposedly preoccupied with the Islam problem and that of avoiding the breaking of the tenets of the Muslim faith, irritating believers and or offending them, whether because Muhammad shown could be a chance to dehumanize him or idolize his image, either of which would be a sin. It doesn't stop the characters, though, from repeatedly blaspheming and profaning Christian slander in this episode, or in 201, even in front of Jesus himself, who doesn't seem to care one way or the other that they do. This is, of course, unsurprisingly characteristic jab at the desensitization and lack of similar treatment in what is actually a surprisingly similarly laud religion, that its followers simply don't care as they should, or that they are actually disobedient, i.e. the Roman Catholicism representation of Christ, or Ed doesn't fly with thou shalt not have any graven image, even if it is a commandment, is still an order. Jesus, that was a lot for me to read there. I needed Joe there for that one. Several deceased celebrities, both in real life and the show continuity, are shown in this episode, This may, of course, been intentional, as all celebrities who have been inserted one by one in the animation process. However, the fact that celebrities such as George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have managed to appear again, despite on-screen deaths in the show, may imply that the celebrities have a Kenny-esque loophole in the South Park continuity, which allows them to die and come back without explanation. That actually does make more sense. The promo video of the celebrities in front of the citizens of South Park talking about a class action lawsuit, though, is never seen. And while many of the characters retain their old appearance in this episode, although many have had their looks polished since the initial appearance, Mecha Streisand is completely redesigned from her initial appearance in Season 1. She is now completely CGI. Of course, as we mentioned, as Mecha Streisand is powered up, a Japanese voice parodying the Japanese man who had sung in the similar tone of the original episode, Mecha Streisand is heard singing, Babura, Babura, Ishiban Kuri na Hituro, Babura, Babura, Hanako Uki, which translate into English as Barbara, Barbara, the person that we hate the most, Barbara, Barbara, your nose is big. This is, of course, referencing that Matt Stone and Trey Parker hate her. In fact, they once happily said, a lot of our fans ask us, do you really hate the celebrities you make fun of South Park? And the answer is, of course not. It's all just in fun. Except when it comes to Barbara Streisand. We hate her. The rock music Mecha Streisand is powered up is a reference to the Godzilla Final Wars, which fight features scenes accompanied by rock music. Mecha Streisand appears in her debut form in this trailer. And although 200 was originally available for purchase on iTunes, it has now been removed in Australia. In Australia, though, it has been put back up. The episode and its sequel are missing from the UK and Australian DVDs of Season 14. Both this episode and 201 are not published on South Park Studios, although they are listed, and you can't watch it on HBO Max. You could never watch it on Hulu when it was on there prior. As I stated, here in the United States, there's only two ways you can get it. DVD or, nefarious means. This is 2023. If you still haven't figured out how to, download episodes on the internet or watch stream things from websites, figure it out. Ask somebody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your trivia. Let's get into some continuity. Shout out to Dane Becker, because there's no pop culture. It's just continuity. This episode shows assorted celebrities who are dead either in real life or alive or both. Despite being dead in real life and in the show as well, by the time this episode aired, Michael Jackson, Johnny Cochran, Christopher Reeve, and Steve Irwin are present in the episode. Steve Irwin, of course, may still be dead in the show, as he is still shown to have a stingray in his chest, as was previously shown in Hell on Earth 2006. But he might have been temporarily allowed to return from hell for the sake of this lawsuit. Although alive in real life at the time of this episode airing, Osama bin Laden, Britney Spears, Paul Watson, Eric Roberts, Rob Reiner, Rosie O'Donnell, Sarah Jessica Parker, Rob Schneider, Bill Donahue, and Barbara Streisand all have been killed on screen in South Park. George Lucas, of course, and Steven Spielberg were killed in both Free Hat and The China Problem. However, they are holding Indiana Jones scantily clad in outfits suggestive of BDSM on a leash in this episode. And finally, Kanye West died actually in a deleted scene from the Season 13 episode Fish Sticks, but due to the fact that the scene was not kept normal broadcast episode, it's not technically considered an on-screen death, and so he is still alive canonly, which we will see in later on in future episodes. Multiple episodes. Tom Cruise and the Church of Scientology threatened to sue Stan Marsh, of course, just as they did in Trapped in the Closet. Tom Cruise threatened to sue this episode. In the trailer, the boys were forced to appear before the town council. They did so previously during the F word. You got after the A. And, of course, the F word. That marks the second appearance of Jared Fogle. He is somewhat of a different voice from what he had in Jared Had AIDS. And this marks the third appearance mentioning of Muhammad. In fact, his first appearance, as I mentioned, was in Super Best Friends, and he was shown uncensored without issue at that time. Jesus appears in this episode, however, having not been prominently shown for some time. This episode makes reference to a number of past episodes, including Cartman's Mom is Still a Dirty Slut, Trapped in the Closet, and Mecha Streisand. This is the first appearance of Mr.Hat since the Death Camp of Tolerance, although he does do a kind of a cameo appearance in the preschool episode. Cartman first began to question who his father was, though, of course, Cartman's mom is a dirty slut. However, it wasn't until Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut that the Cartman's father was allegedly Leanne Cartman, who was supposedly a hermaphrodite. Before this episode, this had only been referenced once in the City on the Edge of Ever, which is the flashback episode. City on the Edge of Forever. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. The goo that Rob Reiner mentions is a reference to the goo that leaked out of him at the end of Butt Out. The packing fudge comments directed at Tom Cruise are similar to come out of the closet comments made in the Trapped in the Closet. Both are subtle jokes regarding that there were rumors that Tom Cruise is homosexual, and he's in the closet. A second appearance of Mitch Connor. The first, of course, was in Fat Butt and Pancake Head. Bono mentions, which we didn't cut to, that the town of South Park accusing him of being made of shit. This is a reference to Season 11's More Crap. The Diamond of Pantheos, which transformed Barbra Streisand into Mecha Streisand, was broken apart and hidden in the 5 corners of Canada. However, Mel Gibson is seen using the diamond to repower the newly rebuilt Mecha Streisand. This could have been located and retrieved by him. During Starvin' Marvin in Space, Sally Struthers was shown to look like Jabba the Hutt. However, in the death of Eric Cartman in this episode, she is shown to look human again, similar to her first appearance in Starvin' Marvin. While not stated specifically, it appears that the current group of ginger extremists may be the revival group that was originally formed by Eric. There are, for example, using the Sunset Ballroom at the Airport Hilton, and the original ginger extremist kid who appeared in Ginger Kids is there as well. They're all there, the whole group. Tim Burton was the only celebrity to join Tom Cruise group, but had not yet been made fun of by South Park. Though, when Tom Cruise convinced Tim to join him, questioning if Tim would appreciate if someone mocked him that he hadn't had an original idea since Beetlejuice, and his constant partnership with Johnny Depp, saying that if he loved him so much, he should marry him already. So they kind of already ironically mocked Tim through the South Park world. Despite Tom Cruise mentioning to all celebrities that they can relate to being slandered in South Park, some celebrities such as Sally Struthers, Russell Crowe, John Edwards, and Michael Bay were not actually physically mocked in the town itself, but instead on TV or in a different location. However, they still agreed to sue the town of South Park. Because, I mean, technically South Park didn't make fun of John Edwards there. It was Kyle, but they were all from South Park. Despite being deceased in real life since October 10, 2004, Christopher Reeves makes an appearance. And finally, at the end of the Super Best Friends intro sequence, we saw a copyright of 2001 Divinity Comics Incorporated, Coexist Peacefully Productions, Inc. This is a reference to the 2001 episode, Super Best Friends, where Muhammad was first shown and was uncensored. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your whole bunch of continuity. Hey, guess what? I lied. There is some pop culture. Here we go. When Tom Cruise is seen jumping and ranting on the couch where Oprah is sitting, this is a reference to when he did the same thing on the Oprah episode. When Rob Reiner says release the crack, I don't want to say the word, but he says release the K-Y-K-E-N-E-N, which is a Jewish slur. Obviously a parody of Kraken, which is from the movie Clash of the Titans. And Barbra Streisand, of course, is Jewish. The celebrities that appear in the episode and 201 are as follows. It's a lot, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with me as I read off all of these celebrities. Al Gore, Angelina Jolie, Barack Obama, Barbra Streisand, Barry Bonds, Ben Affleck, Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, Bill Donahue, Billy Bob Thornton, Bob Saget, Bono, what would Brian Botano do? But he didn't technically get made fun of. Brian Dennehy, Britney Spears, Brooke Shields, Charlie Sheen, Christopher Reeve, David Blaine, David Duchovny, David Letterman, Eric Roberts, Francis Ford Coppola, Fred Savage, Mickey Mouse, Winona Ryder, Tom Cruise, Michael Richards, Michael Jackson, Tina Yothers, Tim Burton, Michael Douglas, Michael Bay, Tiger Woods, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, Martha Stewart, Steven Spielberg, Steve Irwin, M. Night Shyamalan, Liza Minnelli, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sally Struthers, Lars Ulrich, Kurt Russell, Russell Crowe, Kathy Lee Gifford, Rosie O'Donnell, Rod Stewart, Kanye West, Johnny Cochran, Robert Redford, Rod Schneider, John Travolta, John Edward, Rob Reiner, Pope Benedict I guess that would be the 6th? No. Pope Benedict the 16th. Jimmy Buffett, Jesse Jackson, Phil Collins, Paul Watson, Jared Fogle, Indiana Jones, Paris Hilton, Osama bin Laden, Hillary Clinton, Harold Lloyd, Oprah Winfrey, O.J. Simpson, George Lucas, Norman Wisdom, and Gary Condon. And that is your pop culture. And a couple things left, some censorship, as I mentioned. This episode is banned including but not limited to Latin America, Germany, France, and Sweden. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really like this episode, 200. I liked it back in the day when I first liked it, and I even like it more now because it's a banned episode. So because it's a banned episode, it creates this, kind of secretness around it. It's like, ooh, I shouldn't be watching this episode because it's banned. Kind of creates some danger involved. I thought it was really funny. I really liked all the celebrities they bring back. I like the Cartman and Mitch Connor storyline that they revived with that, as well as the fact that they revived the fact that, look, they're going to actually reveal over the next 2 episodes who Eric Cartman's real father is. They're finally going to give us that answer, even though they made it a comedic trope back in season 2, season 3, and so on and so forth throughout the years, with his mother being a hermaphrodite. We finally are going to come to find out that his mom is not a hermaphrodite, and that Cartman really did, and I say did, have a father. This is definitely one of my top 100 episodes. I really enjoy 200, and 201 is even better, and I can't wait to get into that with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition of SMB, South Park Review. I'll be back next week, hopefully with a guest. I'm trying to line them up. We'll see if we can get together this week and record for you. Episode number 201, part 2 of the SMB 204. I have just been off tonight. I've been fumbling all over my words, and I do apologize, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully it made video. Let's find out next week what happens. Does Cartman find out who his real father is? Return of more characters. The Ginger Kids are still going to strike. The celebrities are still going to strike. We could even see the return of Santa Claus as we even inch closer and closer to the Christmas season as the episodes continue to drop on another edition of SMB, a South Park Review.